Did you know that your next promotion might depend more on how others perceive you than on the work that you're doing? In today's video, I'll be discussing the secret to securing promotions by building your internal brand. 80% of leadership roles are landed via networking, not via applications. We are currently living in an era where who you know, and better yet, who knows you, is the most important indicator of how far up that corporate ladder you're going to be able to climb in your career. If you haven't subscribed yet, then hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, hit that bell so that you're notified of each time I post a new YouTube video just like this one. My name is Ryan Stoltzfus. I'm the founder of the Job Hackers Network. I help tech leaders to stand out by executing a strategic job search focused on networking directly with hiring leaders. So today we're talking about internal branding. Let's start off with what internal branding is. Internal branding is the professional reputation, the known value that you cultivate within your organization. I want to talk a little bit about the chessboard. An operational leader, a P&L owner, is looking at their business, they're looking at problems, and they're seeing solutions to those problems as chess pieces. And if you're not an identifiable chess piece, you cannot be played on the chessboard. So we're going to be talking about that internal brand, how you become identifiable, how you are known in terms of how you move on that chessboard so that you can be played. Let's talk a little bit about some of the components of internal branding. Number one is going to be your professional reputation. Jeff Bezos says your brand is what people say about you while you're not in the room. When you're not present, what is it that's secured in people's minds? How are they describing you? This is your brand. There's two things that they're going to be talking about or that they're going to be thinking about. They're thinking about what you did. They're looking back to the past and understanding the accomplishments, the stories, the delivery, the results, the things that you drove to, the life cycles you helped the organization tackle. So they're looking back. The other component is they're looking forward. Based on what this individual did, what could they do in the future? And so they're looking at that chessboard and they're saying, these are the problems that I have right now. And could Ryan come into this problem and take it from life cycle A over to life cycle B, getting through these hurdles, looking back at what he did, what could he do moving into the future? That level of knowing and understanding you is really the concept of your internal brand. A person with a strong internal brand, that what they did and what they could do is really identifiable. The second component that I really want you to watch out for in terms of a pitfall is going to be assuming that your work is going to speak for itself. In the past, 10, 15 years back, you could do that. You could do great work and the people around you in your direct center would see that work. And oftentimes that's how people have made their previous career transitions, but not anymore. Now the access to information, access to data is so much more prevalent that a person can be sitting in a physical office and have a great line of sight to somebody in a remote location. You've got to be very purposeful about who sees your work. As we move forward in this video, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for that, to make sure that people who are critical to the potential movement of your career, they know who you are. They know what you bring to the table. Now let's jump into a 5-part framework to build your internal brand step by step. The first one that we're jumping into is defining your value proposition. This is absolutely critical. You have got to understand your unique strengths, the way in which you show up in the work, right? The activities that really light you up and fuel and engage you, your unique strengths, and your unique contributions to the organization. And get this succinctly written out in a way that you can recite it, right? Now, a lot of people might need a little bit of help with this, and I understand the value proposition is something that might be a little bit foreign to a lot of people. We're not used to selling ourselves. But if you need a solid template that includes examples to create an amazing, impeccable value proposition, look in the description below. I'll give you a link to grab my value proposition template with examples. This value proposition has got to align, again, to your strengths, to the work, to the delivery, but also to the overall organization's goals. And where you have beautiful alignment there, an individual is able to see, touch, and feel, understand, and play you on that chessboard according to your value proposition. Now, the next thing you have to do when you know that value proposition, you've got it here, it's locked in, is you've got to communicate it consistently. You've got to regularly think about, where can you share these wins out? A lot of us might feel uncomfortable sharing wins, but you've got to think about it from this perspective. If an individual, a P&L owner, a profit and loss statement owner, knows the delivery, knows who you are and what you can do, you are serving them. It is an act of service to enable somebody to know your delivery, your results, your area of expertise. And I think that mental transition is really an aha moment for my clients when they're able to realize, holy cow, I am really, really good in this specific area. Getting an organization from here to there, solving this type of problem. And then in the communication of that value proposition, we want to use storytelling. Storytelling really locks things in. It makes it so that we get it. We can see the situation, task, action, result. When faced with this, we made this plan, we did this, and it yielded this. Better than I did this and it yielded this. Okay, we've always got to get it back to I, so that you are identifiable and an individual knows, oh, that's the part that you played in that story, in that delivery. Number 3, you want to cultivate strategic visibility. One of the key things we want to be doing here is being selective about what it is that you take on. We talked about this a little bit before when we were talking about pitfalls. So what are some of those things that go into my selectiveness? Is the work that you're going to be doing going to be playing to your strengths? Is there going to be a high level of visibility to this project? Are you going to be able to showcase your leadership potential, your leadership delivery? Think about where it is that you want to get to. Maybe you're transitioning from manager to director, right? A common thing that's very hard to tackle. And you're saying, okay, does this project have a line of sight or visibility to key stakeholders that control the posting of that director level role? If that's a yes, and you're going to be in their line of sight, that's where the executive sponsorship is, then this might be a great project for you to dive into. So be selective, be willing to say no, and then when it's obvious that it is going to be highly visible in your strengths, you're going to be able to accomplish what it is that you need to accomplish in this project, then dive in, grab it with both hands, and jump into that project. The 4th thing that I want you to do here as a step is to seek feedback and then take action. The worst thing that you can do is to ask for feedback and do nothing about it, right? People get really tired of that really quick. But if you're going out to the peers that you work with, right? Those other directors, those other leaders, the peripheral people whose your work is going to affect their delivery, and you're saying, you're seeking that advice on how you can affect their work to a greater extent. You're going to your mentors, to your peers, to your supervisors, and you're saying, how am I perceived? What is it that you think of when you think of me? Here's my value proposition. Does it align? Is that what you see in daily execution? Maybe there's an opportunity for you then to tell some of your stories and bring in some visibility to some of the other work that you've done, but at least you're stepping away from that table. You're using that feedback to refine your approach, to refine your style, how you're showing up, how you play to your strengths. And then you can, now knowing this, allow yourself the freedom to show up in that way, because that's how you're going to be the most sustainable in the workplace, is if you play to your strengths. The number 5 component to how you can really improve this personal brand is to be a brand ambassador for your team. Advocate for your team's successes. That is going to absolutely reflect upon you as a leader, right? Your ability to bring individuals into the right work, to allow that work to play to their strengths, and to give them the freedom to grow and to flourish and to deliver. So be an advocate for your people. One of the best stories you can tell in an interview is how you've helped individuals in your team to move up the corporate ladder themselves through mentorship, through helping them to just come to grips with their awesomeness as well and deliver results. And then by them gaining visibility, it's giving you visibility. Advocacy for your team serves everybody. You want to create opportunities for them to step forward. Think about presentations. Think about who's going to be in the room in those presentations. Should it be you doing the presenting, or should it be a member of your team who's able to step forward and be an ambassador for a project? Okay, so that's one area where you can enable people to step to the table, gain visibility, and that representation of your team is something that you will gain points for as well. If this content is helping you, then hit that like button down below and comment by answering this question. What is one thing that you have done to strengthen your personal brand? Comment down below. I want to go through an example from one of my clients so that you can kind of see this put into practice. My client is an operational manager, has a pretty large P&L, about 300 million. He's in the oil and gas space, and he's trying to move up to a director of operations role. And so what we were able to do is devise a plan where he had the specific names of the VPs of operations that had much larger, kind of $2 billion P&Ls, and really diagnose what is his brand with each of those 4 people. He then developed a strategy, a communication plan to get in front of and to gain lines of visibility, lines of sight with each of those people, right? If your brand is what people say about you while you're not in the room, the Jeff Bezos quote, you can affect that, you can control that by giving them new lines of sight to you and really controlling what they know your value to be. And so it went so far that one of these individuals was spending a whole day in Houston. He flew himself to Houston and was able to hang out with this VP for a whole day where they were just together. And he flew himself on his own dime down there to be able to, because he understood the value of being able to be well positioned in a larger P&L owner's mind. Some of the common challenges that you'll find yourself facing is balancing visibility with humility. How do you, while you're gaining visibility, stay humble, show yourself from a humble positioning? One is advocating for your team and putting your team forward, highlighting the attributes, the delivery of other members within your team. It ultimately is the delivery you own, but vicariously you're able to live through the delivery of your team, sell them up, sell their story, and that absolutely raises how you are perceived. I believe that the people who are really thinking they know everything are the people who know the least. And as you gain more understanding of a specific area, you realize, wow, I really truly don't know everything. And that's when imposter syndrome starts to creep in. But you have to realize you are the expert. You are the one that really does truly have that knowledge. You have conquered these things before and you can conquer them again. So you've got to overcome that self-doubt and be willing to say, wait a second, I've done some really amazing things, as you do step into a position of self-promoting. Another component is you've got to be able to navigate workplace politics in a way that enables you to stay authentic. Stay transparent. One of the best tools that I find to help you to stay authentic is to think about your strengths. I talked about TMBC before, to be able to understand through the standout assessment your strengths-based roles. And as you are continuing to play to your strengths, you will remain connected. As you're able to identify your value proposition and say, that's where I'm at my best, and then step forward into the organization and say, that's where I can create the most impact. And if for you, it's about impact, not money, it's about how you can change people's lives a little bit more than how it can change your own, then you will keep that authenticity. So remember, your internal brand, it's not just what you do. It's how you make others feel about your ability to lead and create impact. And you ultimately, you've got to own your own narrative. You are the author. You are the one who is writing the story. If you know of others in your community, in your center of influence, who would value this video, please don't hesitate to share this forward so that they can also grow their internal brand and attain those promotion opportunities that they desire to attain. And be sure to check out these videos next as you continue to build your brand and grow your impact. And I'll see you in the next one.